Hey everyone, welcome back to another video.
So, in order to be free from the mind, first we have to understand that what is the mind, not control it. A lot of people think that it's about controlling the mind, controlling the thoughts. But the thing is that the more you try to control something within your mind, the more it starts controlling you. Because control is an act of suppression. There is a tension created in you when you are trying to control your thoughts. But here we are going to talk about how to literally transcend thought, how to be aware of it, how to be conscious of it, and realize that you are not your thoughts. So to understand the mind, let's start with a newborn baby. An adult and a newborn baby both have brains, but an adult also has a mind, because the newborn baby does not yet has the conditioned idea of I, the identity, and all the information that we accumulate through our society, through this fear-driven matrix. So on the basis of all the information, all our conditioning, we have a sense of I, and on the basis of that information, we think thoughts. And no matter what kind of thought you are saying, whether you are saying it out loud or you are doing some inner chatter, always at the center point there will be your sense of self, your I. So in order to think, you need I. I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about that. Without the I, you can't think. The thought needs the I. And another thing the thought needs, the mind needs to function is language. So these two things that we created for our own convenience, the name that we give to each other for the clarity that who's who, we can't exist here without naming each other. And the other thing, the language. Language can't perceive silence. Language is just existing in the realm of thinking, not knowing, not awareness, not consciousness. And that mind likes to categorize everything. It likes to put everything inside a box. So this is the mind. And it goes much deeper than that, but this is the basic understanding of mind. It is a construct. You can't touch it physically. It is just a concept inside your own head that this is me, these are my thoughts, these are my belief systems, this is who I think I am. Now the thing is that it is heavily conditioned, and it is so heavily conditioned with fear, self-judgment, and because of that your self-image is something that is not empowered. There is an inner critic in you that is always judging you, and you are not really free. You are always existing in this box of mind, and you are always judging yourself on the basis of that. So in order to be free from that, you need something beyond the mind. And that is what the purpose of meditation is. To make you experience something that is not existing inside this mind. You can also say to realize something, to get into a state where there is no mind, where you are able to realize that I am not my thoughts. It is a realization. It is not something that you have to possess. I have possessed no mind. I know myself. No, not like that. But you experience, you go into that zone and you see that I am the big blue sky and there are clouds floating by, these are thoughts, and I am the sky and these are the clouds. There is a separation. I am not identified with the clouds. So this is the greatest realization the meditation can give you, and through that you can access the higher consciousness. And only through understanding the mind, questioning your thoughts, and realizing yourself as consciousness, you can free yourself from your conditioned mind. Now the another thing about mind is that all the problems, all the suffering, and even the pleasure, everything arises in us in form of psychological suffering or psychological happiness. Everything is psychological first. Majority of the suffering we go through, it's not like continuously your body is in pain, but still you are suffering. You can be perfectly healthy, everything is fine in your body, but psychologically you are suffering. And the mind and body are really much connected. It's been scientifically proven that if you have a certain kind of thought, if you are constantly thinking about it, then your body starts believing it. If you are thinking negatively about your body, it is affecting your body. If you are thinking positively about your body, it is affecting you in that manner. So mind and body are very much connected. So if psychologically you're always focused on the worries, on the problems, on the suffering, so physically it will show up in the body and more in your reality also, because where your attention goes, energy flows. So the mind is the central point of all your psychological suffering, because that's where thoughts come. And many of us, a lot of us, they don't suffer from anything in their present reality. Majority of their suffering is just thoughts. There is an inner critic in you. Now that inner critic is shaped by our society, by our conditioning, in even our schooling system. So when you are growing up, you are constantly being judged for something you are not good at, constantly being compared to other children. You're constantly being ranked, categorized, graded, A, B, C. It is so normalized. You are some object, and this creates an inner critic in you. The inner critic in you is just the reflection of our society. It is imposed on you. So whenever you are judging yourself, it is not actually the real you. It is the conditioned you. It is your conditioning, that you are criticizing yourself for not being good enough. Whenever you find any shortcoming in anything, you are finding yourself extremely judging yourself, even in small things, because that's what this system does. Everyone is focused on the shortcomings. Whenever someone does something good, they just appreciate it for one moment and then it's gone. Then again, back to the judgment. So you have to realize that this inner critic is not something that is you. It is your conditioning. Only through awareness you can unlearn this conditioning. Only by becoming aware you can choose not to believe in the inner critic. That you see that it is a lie. It is a lie that I am not worthy. It is a lie that I am not enough. And it can only happen when you become aware, when you see this truth that this inner critic is not me. There should be a disassociation with that inner critic. You have to stop identifying yourself with that inner critic. Best way to become self-aware is definitely meditation. Even if you every day start meditating for just 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, if you make it a priority in your life that you take time to meditate, it helps you to see this truth that you are not your thoughts. No other activity helps you to realize this. Usually we are just jumping from one activity to another activity, and all these activities are existing in the mind. The mind is always occupied in one activity, another activity, but in meditation the mind is never interested, because this is something opposite. Here you are doing nothing basically. You are just observing the mind, and it doesn't like that. The mind doesn't want to be the subject. When you are being the consciousness, mind becomes a subject for you. You can see it separately. So if you have never tried meditation before, I would highly recommend that you get into it. It doesn't have to be the traditional one. Whatever helps you to calm down, whatever helps you to slow down in your life. It can be a walk, it can be sitting down and taking few deep breaths and simply becoming aware of the breath, and simply just say in your mind that I am the observer. For just a few moments, I'm gonna observe whatever that comes in my mind without any judgment. Any thought comes, simply watch it, observe it, and again say to yourself that I am the watcher, I am simply the observer. A thought comes and you forget about watching. You completely forget that you were watching. It happens in the beginning. Nothing wrong in that. But whenever you remember, oh, I was meditating, I was watching, then again come back to the breath. Start watching the breath. Start observing the mind. The more you train yourself to become the observer, the more you can be the consciousness when the thoughts are trying to overpower you, because we all are collectively connected. So if the collective is going through a really fearful time, if the collective is experiencing suffering at large, so you may pick up on those thoughts, and you will start feeling that if you believe that every thought that comes in your mind is you are suffering the collective. You as individual are perfectly well, but you pick up on the thoughts of the collective. So there should be a separation between you and your mind, and meditation is a perfect thing for that. It is literally the realization that I am the observer, I am the watcher, I am the higher consciousness. And once you are able to align with that consciousness, then thoughts come and go. Meditation is not about controlling thoughts. It's simply about becoming aware of them and seeing them as they are, that it's not me. It's passing by, it's coming and going. And the more you watch it, the more you become centered in that neutral consciousness. And that neutral consciousness is who you really are. It is your higher self. And when you're identified with the stories of the mind, that is ego. And you can only see beyond the story when you realize you are not the story. The identification is really strong. And the only way to be free from the identification is to take some time. Anything that helps you to free your mind, to create space in you, to create a calmness in you, and to, for a moment, make you realize that you are simply watching, observing. This watchfulness is meditation.
I hope you enjoyed this video. You can like, comment, share. You can also support my work by hitting the thanks button. And please make sure to subscribe. Much love to you all.